Hi there, welcome to Conversations, where we seek to advance your leader and team excellence by discussing relevant topics that impact today's organizations. Welcome to the show. Hey there, leader. On today's conversation, we are talking about resilience as a business strategy, and we're going to look at the 4 R's to get you back on track. So I want to know, are you thriving or are you just surviving? The coronavirus pandemic has seen its share of casualties. Yes, loss of life as well as loss of livelihood mount daily. Sadly, we've witnessed the hearts and spirit of even the most confident leader left challenged. Let's face it, COVID-19 came in like a lion. This external force, invisible enemy, has impacted leaders everywhere. Some of you were prepared, but unfortunately, most of you were not. Whether prepared or not, as leader, you must show up for your people. How is that going? Have you led yourself and the people you serve with grace and understanding, or have you checked out and decided to give up the fight? Leaders exhibiting resilience are reframing their personal and business challenges and positioning those challenges toward opportunity. If you're thinking it's too late to begin to turn the ship, the good news is it is not, and there is no better time than now to build your business resilience. By leveraging lessons learned from the 2020 crisis and creating a plan of action, you increase the likelihood of building for strength and thrive, not just survive. Resilience is the ability to bounce back, to face a challenge and make a way forward, regardless of how impossible that may seem. When I think about resilience, September 17 comes to mind. Hurricane Irma came knocking at my front door, and I watched with an unsettling uncertainty as before my eyes my property became littered with downed pine and oak trees. I stood in fear as I faced the truth of the day. My home and my life could be in jeopardy. During the cleanup days that followed, my mind began questioning what had transpired. How is it that the deep-rooted, mature trees, those that I thought would be spared, fell to the ground, while hundreds of palm trees with shallow root systems stood strong and tall? This thinking quickly evolved into the topic of leaders and resilience. When you assess your resilience or your colleagues, which tree comes to mind? Are you like the palm tree weathering the storm? Or are you more like those mature, deep-rooted trees that were negatively impacted and no longer had the strength to hold on? Resilient leaders are rising to the challenges, pivoting as necessary, and casting a message of optimism and hope. If you are like most leaders, you want to be and feel successful. You want your organization to withstand the barrage of uncertainty that COVID-19 has created. Maybe what you've been doing isn't working, or maybe you don't even know where to begin. Regardless of your circumstance, you can be and do better, but your circumstance won't change unless you make the decision to change. So it's time to get your team, your organization, and for many of us, your family back in the game. As leader, you have the opportunity to demonstrate leadership. Give yourself permission to come alongside your people and change what might seem a lost cause and find a new way to operate. You can do this looking at the 4 R's to building business resilience. So how can you build this business resilience? Well, Gallup names 4 key areas to consider when building for resilience. When positioned right, each of these areas will bring new life and a roadmap to move forward. As you look at these 4 areas, consider what can you begin doing today, and what area will allow for some of those quick wins that are so imperative so that you and your team can feel a sense of accomplishment. The first R is reimagine the customer experience. Now more than ever, it's essential to know the pulse of the people you serve. Perhaps your customer, client, patient, or even your family, their needs have shifted during the changing landscape of COVID-19. What and how do you measure what matters? Building a strong customer experience takes reducing barriers, which include your customer perception of your business. So, how are you communicating with your stakeholders? Are you establishing innovations to reach new and existing customers? And then, what about those stakeholders? What are they witnessing through your efforts? Do they see you as a strong, competent organization or one that lacks leadership and engagement? And then to gain a wider view of your systems and processes, how are you allowing voices at the table? Are they just the same old voices, or are you able to have others come to the table and really express themselves? What message do you as leader need to focus on to generate a collaborative effort across channels? Diversifying your efforts may be what's necessary. So you want to be willing to make those adjustments even if you need to fail fast to get to what's right. And then we have the second R, reshape your culture to ensure it is an ally to disruption. When leaders fail to promote a healthy work culture, they run the risk of losing their talent. Your culture must be aligned with the organization's mission, vision, and values. When misalignment occurs, your organization will suffer. It's up to leaders to help their people walk in their purpose and in their strengths. Bridging strengths to business objectives is a way to create a continuous cycle of creating impact. The outcome will increase confidence within the work culture. Your company culture needs a strong set of signposts. Leaning in and assessing your company mission, vision, values, as well as giving that gut check will help know if you're on target or missing the mark. So some questions to reflect on when thinking about your company culture are, how is your branding aligning with the organizational culture? What does the mission, vision, and values say, and how can it be strengthened? How does your leadership walk out the values of the organization? And then what parts of the organization need to be agile so you can move quicker? The third R is refresh your leadership development and rededicate to core leadership values. If there is ever a time to give your leaders a boost, it is now. In a recent Gallup poll, only 38% of the U.S. employees noted confidence in their organizational leadership to successfully manage emerging challenges. This number must rise. Your people need to have confidence that you, as a leader, can drive the plane while flying. How are you demonstrating confidence to those stakeholders? What needs to be developed? You and your people showed up to COVID as your authentic self. One thing this crisis will clearly demonstrate is whose authenticity demonstrated leadership, but further, who is sinking or swimming in that leader pool. It may be surprising for some to recognize that who you thought would rise to the COVID occasion lacked luster, and in many cases will find a bright new shining star to develop. So who is swimming with the current and who isn't? Who needs to be recognized for their efforts? Who is leaning into their strengths and who perhaps needs a reminder? Who needs someone to come along to help assess and develop new or existing leaders? And are your core values and talent acquisitions aligning? The fourth R in the strategy is to continuously reignite your workforce. I get it. This pandemic is tiring. If you're not experiencing some pushback, it may mean that you're offering your people inspiration and encouragement. You're showing optimism. You're letting your people see and hear you. You're present. But unfortunately, most leaders are forgetting these important leader requirements. Your people need you to recharge and reignite passion within the organization. So how well are you doing can be measured by reflecting on the following. So what's your organization's current level of performance towards creating impact? What are you doing well, and how can you do more of that? What strategy has benefited your organization and your people most and best? What roles might need to be assessed or added due to our current business strategy? Hey leaders, it's your time to shine. You can do this. It's time to rise and create a way forward for you and your people. By using the 4R model for business resilience, your organization can still have its best year ever. When you reframe your current reality into a future-focused, opportunity-driven organization, the outcomes will demonstrate increased resilience, both personally and professionally. So what are your best practices for strengthening resilience? I'd love to know. Until next time, this is Dr. Kelly Whelan. Keep doing great things because our world needs leaders like you.